Hey, how's it going? So today I'm going to show you how to enable your game chat audio to be heard on OBS, but I'm also going to show you how to be able to not only hear it on OBS, but live stream it, as well as be able to hear it on your headset. There's different settings that you can use, different methods that you can use. There's three primary ones that you typically will use, but today we're going to review two. The first one's going to be probably the easiest, and then the second one has a few additional steps, which depending on your needs, you might use over the first one. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first way to hear your audio is by creating an output source that has your default setting on it. It's pretty simple. What I want to show you here is how I manage my audio. So what you see here is that I have an audio scene down here. Everything that has audio goes there, and then it's basically set depending on what I'm doing. So as you can see here, I have my webcam, display, games, Spotify, desktop, and microphone. What we're concerned with right now is our desktop. So when you add an output capture, if you were to just simply put OK and then put this as default, then you should be able to hear everything that your desktop hears, which is why when you look at the desktop app, it's currently picking up the game that I'm playing in the background, which is Call of Duty. If you see down here as well, you also have the game itself, which is Call of Duty itself. The difference between these two is that with desktop, you pick up everything. So it will pick up not only the game, but the game chat. With the game here, the game feature audio, it only picks up the game. It does not pick up the chat. So let me go ahead and mute that. So when you're live streaming, you're recording a video, if you're using just a desktop track here or output, that means that when you go to edit that video, the desktop itself is going to have one track and it's going to have everything in there. You won't be able to remove Spotify, mute it, raise the game volume, raise the chat volume, which is why this is the easiest way to do it. But if you're a video editor like myself, a content creator, then you're obviously going to want different tracks so you can alternate your audio, right? So the idea here is to make an audio track for each of your audio sources, right? So like I mentioned, anything you're going to use, you add them here. And now you simply go to a different scene here. So as you can see here, all my audio appears here as well because my sound alerts or audio scene here was copied onto this source. So as long as you copy paste into everything that you need it in, you're going to have your audio ready and good to go, which is great. So if you're just trying to get your game audio, you can simply go ahead and create a game capture. And then that way, when you go ahead and go here, you simply switch to the correct game and it's going to pick up the game audio. Simple as that, right? But the important thing is that you go to your audio mixer here and you mess around with these so that again, you get each individualized track so you can edit it later, whether it's again increasing, reducing the noise, muting a certain track because you don't need it. So let me explain that to you. I believe it's important for you to know why it is that you do all of this and not just, quick and easy. So as you can see here, there's tracks up to 6. I believe you can add more, but 6 is the default. What goes into your track 1 by default is anything that's being live streamed. So for example, if I'm on Twitch, I'm live streaming, anything on audio track 1 is going to be heard by the stream. That includes my webcam, desktop, game, microphone, Spotify, as long as it's not muted, right? Now, if we go to number 2, that's basically what happens when you record a video, whether it's ending a stream on YouTube or Twitch, or you're recording a video itself on OBS. This is going to go into your video. As you can see here, I have Spotify unchecked because I don't want it to appear on YouTube or Twitch, because then you can get copyrighted, you can get in trouble. So therefore, Spotify isn't added there. We go to number 3. We start individualizing these tracks because therefore, when I go to my video editor, which is DaVinci, I can easily remove a track or change it if I need to. So number 3, I have it as my mic. So when I go into DaVinci, it's gonna have its own audio track, and it's gonna be good for me to maybe raise my volume up for my mic so you can hear it over the game in the game chat. Number 4, we have the game itself. Number 5, we have the desktop. And then number 6, we have our webcam, which honestly we don't use. So that's what this looks like. We have our monitoring off because we don't want any echoes. And we're actually going to go to our settings so I can show you why monitor off is what we want. If you're a streamer and for some reason you're not hearing your sound alerts, your donations, subscribers, then I've heard that if you go to your desktop here and you put monitor and output, then it'll allow you to hear it. But you shouldn't have to do that because just by having the desktop app there, it should pick up automatically what your Twitch or whatnot is hearing, right? So that's it here. This is basically what you need to do. So now we're gonna go over to our settings. This is what our settings looks like. We're gonna want to go to audio, and as you can see, I have everything disabled. Why? Because no matter what, everything's already being picked up. We don't need to select any of this because we already have it set as we did in our audio scene. Now, if you're gonna monitor because you want to hear what's going on, then I do recommend you add it to your headphones, which is why I have my headphones added here in case I am doing that. This is actually going to help you for the second method that I'm going to show you so that you can pick up your game chat. So I would suggest you just have this as your Barracuda Pros and you're good to go. Okay, so far we have our desktop audio here. We're good to go. If you were to record a video right now, it's going to pick up your game and you're going to be good to go as well. You don't even have to mess with the settings on Call of Duty because as long as you have the default system, again, your desktop is going to be the default and it's going to be heard. However, if you can't hear the audio at all for some reason, it might be because your default setting isn't selected correctly. So I'm sure 80% of you are going to use a headset. What I would recommend is that you switch your headset as a default device. So you go to your sound, advanced, and then you'll get this box here. Then you just select default and you're good to go. If we were to jump on COD, we should have the same settings. And here we go. Audio is coming through the speakers. Voice chat is coming through the speakers. Since we have the desktop open for OBS, then that means that it's going to pick up everything. We're good to go. Plus, we'll also be able to hear a game chat, which is good. And that's it. Okay, so the great thing about default method is that you set it up as default, you're good to go, you hear everything, you record your video, you're done. And then if you have your audio mixer selected appropriately, if you record a video, live stream, then Spotify shouldn't be an issue once you have the VOD or video, because it's not going to come out as long as the track number 2 is unchecked. And as long as you left everything in your settings as default, because you can select which track goes to the live stream and which track goes to your video. But by default, it should be 1 and 2, 1 for live stream, 2 for audio. And then if you're still hearing your Spotify for some reason on your videos, then I suggest maybe finding an individual track to set it on. That way you can just go ahead and go to your video editor and then delete it from there. So if I were to maybe remove number 6 for camera and put Spotify there, then it would appear as a number 6 track and then I could just delete it. Okay, let's go on to the second method. One other thing to mention, since I'm super helpful, is that obviously if you're playing a game like Call of Duty and you're using the desktop method where it picks up everything, including your game chat, then if you're live streaming or on YouTube or whatever, and they're cussing, being racist, that's going to be heard by everybody, which is why a lot of streamers choose not to stream the game chat unless they're like with their party. But then once you're with their party, you can easily add a Discord output so that you can hear your Discord through there. So if that's the case, you're gonna have to obviously have that audio in your videos, right? Like if you're in DaVinci and you have the audio on. So I kind of recommend that you have desktop on for your audio track so you can hear the game chat, and you have the game on. But I believe that if you mute the game here, you'll still get the game and chat audio here, and you'll still get the game track as well. So now you'll have two tracks. You'll have, let's say, desktop here and then the game here. So if at any point you need to cut down some of that audio from the game chat, you can just either delete the whole desktop track, or you can delete snippets of it. You'll keep the game. If you want it untouched and you want the whole game track to be normal, then you're still going to have the game track here as well. So I hope that makes sense. You'll have two tracks to mess with. The first one being desktop, which you can delete, alternate, cut, or the second one, which is the actual game itself, which you can leave fully and then have no issues with it. So just keep that in mind. If you're live streaming as well, it might be a good idea to have both on as well, or actually mute one, obviously, because you don't want it to echo. But it'll be good to have both ready, because if they start cussing and you're playing and live streaming, you can just mute your desktop and then turn on the game, and now you're good to go. They won't hear the chat, but they'll hear the game. Yeah, good luck. Okay, so this second method is a little bit more trickier, so I'm going to take my time explaining it to you, and hopefully this works for you, because I've noticed that sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, sometimes it'll glitch, sometimes the audio will max out. So it's a little bit tricky. It's easier, at least for me, to just go ahead and record the desktop in separate tracks as needed. I don't listen to music while I'm streaming or playing, so it's simple, right? Okay, so this method, what you need to do is make sure that your headset, for example, is in your default device. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put our speakers, which I have here. This is my little speaker button that connects to my actual big speakers. I'm gonna set that as a default and remove my headset as a default. So now it's like a free device, let's say. Let's move this out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and actually turn off our desktop audio and turn on our game audio. So at this point, we won't hear everything that's on the desktop, but we will hear the game. However, remember, we hear the game, but we don't hear the chat because they're two different audio sources. So from here, what we need to do is actually add another audio source. So I'm just going to add it here instead of the audio scene to make it simpler. You're going to go ahead and add an output source, create a new one. So here we are. This is our device. What you need to do here is select an audio source that is not your headset and that is not your default device. Why? Because your headset is going to hear everything that's on your desktop, and then your default device is basically your desktop. So we don't want to hear everything, right? We just want to hear the game chat. So at this point, you can go ahead and select, let's say, the digital audio, and there it is. This should be our game chat, and this is the way that we're gonna make it the game chat. We go to Call of Duty. We're gonna keep our speakers as our headset because we can still hear the game and everything else through our speakers. And we have our little game track already set, so we are only worrying about the voice chat. So if you go here, so that you don't hear everything on the speakers, which equals desktop, you're gonna select the digital audio that we selected on the OBS, and make sure that your game chat voice is also set correctly. Nobody's muted, because I've had this issue before with other people, and then I always tell them make sure that you're in the right chat and that nobody's muted, and then they're like, wow, I totally wasn't paying attention. So now if we go back to OBS, we should be able to hear the game chat here and the game. So as soon as somebody talks, this is gonna obviously go up. I suggest you adjust your audio accordingly. One simple method to do is to go ahead and go into your Call of Duty and actually select your audio here. So as you can see, my game is at 60 max. while my voice chat is at 80. So my voice chat is always going to be a little higher. This also helps if you're doing the desktop method for the audio, because that way when you're editing your tracks, this is always going to be a little bit higher as long as there's the same levels. -10. And then over there it's 80, this is 60, so this should always beat it. So now what we need to do so that we can hear this, right, because we also want to hear it, is we're going to go to our mixer. And now for audio capture, you're going to turn on the monitor and output on. And then also make sure that whatever you have checked here is what you want it to be. So for example, I want my live stream to hear it. I want it to come out in my video recording for YouTube or Twitch or whatnot. And then I can't use number 3 because I already have my microphone there. I can't use number 4 because I have my game there. And then number 5, I could theoretically uncheck desktop and be good to go. This will now appear as number 5. But just to not mess with it, I think it's easier for me to put this as number 6 and then take my camera out. So now as you can see, we're good to go. When I go to DaVinci, number 6 is going to be my game chat. So there we go. As soon as we start playing and they start talking, you should be able to hear the game here, because now we're monitoring this. So again, this is being recorded by our video, our live stream, and then it's also being heard by us because we have it as monitor and output. If it were to be the monitor off, then we wouldn't be able to hear the chat. We would hear the game. You would see the people talking in the chat, but you wouldn't be able to hear them, which is why the output is important. And then again, make sure that in your settings, your monitor is set to the appropriate device, which for me is my headset. Otherwise, if you have it as default, then it would be basically saying, hey, if you want to hear the chat, you have to listen to your speakers. That's your current default. So yeah, it's a lot to take in, but you know, if you have to rewatch this video slowly or whatnot, do so. It is very important for you to know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now keep in mind that if you're not gonna be doing this whole method, to change your headset as the default device, right, so that you can go ahead and listen to everything, and then go to your voice chat here and change this back to your default system device. Or for me, it would be my headset. It would be default as well because I already changed my Barracudas over here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know it's a lot to take in. I think this video is pretty long as well. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out and do my best. It's very tricky. But, you know, some of us, we push forward and we do what we can. You can also do this for other games that require you to have 2 different audios as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The third method, which I won't go into just because I don't want to use it or bother with it, is either you use a game capture card. I have a Elgato 4KX, which you can connect your audio and like reroute it to your computer and so forth. But I only use it if I ever stream or record like Nintendo Switch videos, which I typically don't. Or you can go to this website here, which is VV Audio Software. It's also known as Voice Meter. You're basically downloading a digital audio, I believe it's called. Let me see here. A virtual audio cable that basically gets the 2 audios from Call of Duty and transports them separately to your OBS. So remember how we were over here and we selected this as the digital audio. Instead, you would select the, forget the name again, the virtual audio cable here, and then also select it on your Call of Duty, and then it'd be the same thing essentially. Which is why if you can't do this method, the second method here, and you don't want to do the first method, then you can go ahead and try this. It's, I believe, free for 30 days and you pay to use it. But it's exactly the same thing. I just think that it has a better use, right? It works better than this. unless you can find a different virtual audio cable download or method like that. But it's the exact same thing. Yeah, I think that's it. I ranted on long enough. Hopefully you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to know more about the channel, check the description box. Again, any questions, let me know. And yeah, time to play.